what this flu vaccination means.
I'm happy to do that, Alex, and I want you to know that both the General and I are happy and privileged to have the opportunity to talk to you and your listeners about this. This is a critical time, and the first thing I want to do is start at the very end. The very end is, unless you, listeners, take action now, you will be faced with involuntary detention or mandatory vaccination with an attenuated live virus vaccine containing deadly adjuvants, the same things that caused Gulf War syndrome in 700,000 soldiers. And you will have no recourse, no legal recourse, and you will have no financial recourse because vaccine makers are protected by the Fraud and Death Administration and by the spineless, worthless Congress of the United States. And if you'd like later, Alex, I'll tell you how I feel about the Congress. Anyway, the point is that you have a moment now. If you go to our website, which is healthfreedomusa.org, healthfreedomusa.org, to refuse vaccines, refuse incarceration, and instead retire to your home for the quarantine period and self-shield. Now, the best sign, the answer is yes, the vaccine of this against this genetically engineered, weaponized H1N1 virus, which we are now being told, golly gee willikers, this resembles the 1918 swine flu pandemic virus. Well, yes, of course it does, because the genes were introduced intentionally into this new virus when they fizzled after being introduced into the avian flu virus. So now the vaccine will be a deadly, quote, remedy to get rid of a large number of us. And we're going, if we're sheeple, we're going to line up, roll up our sleeves, present our children for vaccination the way 40 million Americans did in 10 weeks during the swine flu debacle in 1976. Only this time they won't stop it after 10 weeks, because the intention, we firmly believe, based on Holder's document and on other information that we've been amassing for years, and we've been talking about, you and the General and I have had the chance to talk about it on this show and on others, and we've been writing about it for years, as you have. This time, the intention is to get rid of us profitably. The amount of money that is being poured into the coffers of the world's pharmaceutical companies is absolutely unholy, as is the intent. In fact, today, the World Health Organization yesterday, World Health Organization put out a press release saying that what we need for this and the coming pandemics, because remember, Alex, this vaccine is not the last pandemic vaccine. It's the first of many, 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 many horrors to come until they've gotten rid of all of us. This is what's needed. We need many new vaccines. We need new patents. We need new drugs.
What is the history of these companies? We know that Baxter, I just put it on screen, London Telegraph, Baxter mixing the live bird flu in 18 countries secretly. Then suddenly they have secret trials lying to homeless, but they won't say it's Baxter that did the trials, and the homeless are dying in mass.
Actually, I believe the trials were done by Novartis, and I believe that they were in conjunction with Sanofi-Aventis, the good people who manufactured an avian flu vaccine, which the United States bought 100 million doses of in their first order, totally untested, untried, but approved by the FDA.
Well, that's the thing. They're on our news here in Austin saying everybody's got to take the shot, get ready. They're on the news saying it will be mandatory coming up in the fall. It will be a pandemic. It will be mass death. And then people are lining up and they're saying, oh, we don't even know if this is the right thing, and just taking the shot. What do we know from past operations, Dr. Labo, and then General Stubblebine, about what they're putting in these vaccines?
Well, they're putting adjuvants. Adjuvants are substances, and the ones that we're most familiar with are the ones based on squalene, which is a fat ordinarily found in the nervous system. Now, when you eat squalene or you rub it on your skin, and it's used in a lot of cosmetics, it doesn't do anything bad to you. But if you inject it, it trains the immune system's white cells to attack it because it's a foreign object in your bloodstream at that point, and the immune system is only doing its job. It turns on the immune system, and the immune system's attack forces can never be turned off again. So they start attacking everything that looks biochemically like squalene. The last, he talked about squalene adjuvants. He talked about introducing oils that irritate the immune system so they make more antibodies. That means the expensive part of the vaccine, the antigen, can be in much smaller proportions, so it's more profitable for the company. And then you make more antigens. That means that you have a higher antigen titer in your body. But
so it's that accelerant that triggers the autoimmune response that you're saying. Well, the other medical doctors we've had on have said that's the thing that causing a lot of the autism, not even the mercury, is that it causes that brain swelling that then causes brain damage.
Correctly, but there's another part to this. No one, and I say this as a scientist and as a physician, no one has ever proven in any clinical trial whatsoever that high titer, that high level of antibodies is related in any way with immunity to the disease. Ever. So this whole thing is pointless, you understand? SARS fizzled. Avian flu fizzled. The pandemic swine flu fizzled. They may or may not be able to get the next generation of this virus, this genetically engineered virus, to do what they want, which is kill lots of us. But it doesn't matter because they've got the vaccine, which is much more direct, much more effective. Now, listen up, folks. If Gardasil does what I believe Gardasil does, and Cervavax, which is the British equivalent of Gardasil, which is about to be also approved in the United States shortly, if these two vaccines do what I believe, which is render girls infertile, there's no reason to believe, there's no reason to believe that this new vaccine, for which Baxter applied for the patent in 2007, by the way, so this surprise rush to get things on the street, so to speak, is total hype and nonsense because they've been preparing this since 2007. If it does the same thing, and it contains one of the same ingredients, tween, TWEEN 80, which is very similar to polysorbate 80, and both of them injected cause infertility, then what we have is not only death, but an end of whatever race you happen to belong to.